Looking at the stone steps that led downward, Dustin took a deep breath and slowly stepped into the passage. The secret tunnel was fairly long, but it was illuminated inside. After descending for a while, the path leveled out and began to move horizontally. The deeper he went, the wider it became. Along the way, there were no abnormalities, nor were there any traps triggered. Before long, Dustin followed the tunnel into a secret chamber. The chamber was spacious, and all four corners were filled with various rare and valuable treasures. There were divine weapons, cultivation manuals, rare herbs, and precious artifacts. Dustin examined everything carefully but did not find the jade box that contained the dragon source energy. Eventually, his gaze landed on the deepest part of the chamber. There stood a large door made of refined steel, engraved with intricate runes. Dustin pulled out his compass and observed closely. The pointer remained fixed in the direction of the door without moving in the slightest. "Looks like it's hidden in this treasury." Dustin put away the compass and began to examine the dense and mysterious runes on the door. He knew well that these runes must be related to the password that would open the door. After studying the carvings for a while, Dustin soon noticed something unusual. Although there were many runes on the door, only 6 showed signs of wear. Faint fingerprint marks could still be seen on them. If his guess was right, the password was composed of these 6 runes. As long as he figured out the correct order, he could successfully unlock it. Dustin pondered for a moment, and then began pressing the runes in different combinations based on their patterns. Once all 6 runes were pressed, the massive door to the treasury made a sharp click. In an instant, countless poison needles shot out from holes in the door. Dustin pushed off the ground and leapt into the air, sticking himself to the ceiling of the chamber. Whoosh! 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 The poison needles all missed, embedding themselves in the opposite wall, leaving behind a dense patch of holes. Their sharpness was evident. As expected, something was off. Dustin landed lightly, and after steadying his focus, he tried again. The second attempt failed as well. This time, it wasn't poison needles, but a spray of green toxic liquid with a pungent stench. Fortunately, Dustin had anticipated this and dodged in time. The spot where he had just been standing was instantly corroded by the poison, forming multiple pits that continued to expand. The corrosive liquid didn't stop until it sank over a meter into the ground and hit the steel plate beneath. If even stone couldn't withstand this poison, a person sprayed by it would likely be reduced to bones in an instant. There was no denying that Third Prince Julius had gone all out with these traps. Even a Grand Master level expert wouldn't dare to face them head on. A single mistake could mean disaster. Without wasting time, Dustin continued testing password combinations. Each failure triggered a new attack. Sometimes it was hidden weapons, sometimes poisonous mist or insects, and even bizarre mechanisms, like a formation activating underfoot or an iron cage dropping from above, leaving one defenseless. Had Dustin not been highly skilled and extremely alert, he would have been caught already. Over and over he tried, each failure increasing his anxiety. Although the traps couldn't hurt him for now, continuing to fail would only make things worse. The guards who had been knocked out by the smoke would awaken in less than 2 hours. If Dustin hadn't opened the treasury by then, the mission would be a complete failure. He had considered forcibly breaking the door down, but that would surely alert Third Prince Julius. If he hadn't found the dragon source energy by then, Third Prince Julius might already have the place surrounded. Even if Dustin managed to escape, his identity would be exposed. That would mean a complete fallout with Third Prince Julius. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Dustin didn't want to go that far. Right now, he could only continue to gamble on his luck. Unknowingly, sweat had begun to form on his forehead, and his heart grew heavier. Finally, after countless failures, the treasury door let out a low hum and slowly opened. Finally! Dustin let out a long breath, relieved. The trial and error had nearly driven him mad. He had been on the verge of smashing his way in. Thankfully, he succeeded in the end, and the traps had all been triggered and exhausted. Dustin stepped into the treasury, his eyes scanning the vast array of treasures. Soon, he saw a bulletproof glass case containing 2 jade boxes. He rushed over, opened the case, and carefully lifted the lids. The familiar aura of dragon source energy emerged before his eyes. There it is! Dustin beamed with joy and stored the 2 jade boxes in his pouch. Though it had been a tough journey, he had completed the mission. Just as Dustin was preparing to leave, the chamber door slammed shut with a loud bang. Thick red toxic smoke began to spray from all corners of the treasury. At the same time, a piercing alarm blared throughout the entire estate. Dustin frowned, his expression darkening. He had been cautious enough, but Third Prince Julius had still set one final trap. This was bad. At that moment, in another courtyard, Third Prince Julius was lying in bed, lost in sweet dreams. Suddenly, the sharp alarm went off like thunder, waking him with a jolt. He sprang out of bed, not even bothering to dress, and rushed out the door. "Guards! An intruder! Follow me and catch the thief!" Julius shouted, immediately summoning a group of guards, and rushed anxiously toward the secret chamber. His alarm was only connected to the treasury. If the secret chamber was robbed, he might not even notice. While the items in the chamber were valuable, they weren't irreplaceable to him. But the treasury was different. Everything inside was priceless. Losing any one of them would be a massive blow. At this moment, he wasn't even thinking about how a thief managed to get into such a heavily guarded estate. He had only one thought in mind: get to the scene as quickly as possible, catch the intruder, and minimize the losses.
And just can't accept it. This can't be the end yet. You promised to never leave, and now you're gone. Can't believe I can feel the world slipping away as you slowly fade from my everyday. You promised forever, a love without end, but now I'm left broken, struggling to mend. I thought we were so tight, destined for a lifetime, love with no end, love with no end. Staying in my imagination, memorizing the past time, the secrets, the love, the care, now they're echoes in the air. I still see your face in every place, feel your warmth, your gentle grace, but now there's just an empty space, and I'm lost in this endless chase. Keeping you in my heart, a piece of you I'll never